What is up, everybody? We are back to spoiler slash reveal season, and I'm super excited. So we're going to jump right in. This is the first day of reveals from Rise of the Underworlds, the new set coming on July 1st. It is also the final expansion from the Shurima Block. So Shurima had 3 expansions, this being the last. And we got revealed today 4 cards and a new keyword, which are always exciting. But on top of that, a nice little teaser video that shows the new 3 champions that will be coming in this set, and they're just super exciting. I mean, we got Pike, so Bilgewater can get some love. We got Rek'Sai, so Shurima can get some more love. And then on top of that, we have Echo, who's probably one of my personal favorites that I'm most excited about, giving P&Z some extreme shenanigans. So let's look at this new keyword first and see if we can get any hints as to what's to come. So the keyword is Lurk. And we actually have a new tribe. If you see the Xerxai hatchling, you see they actually have a new tribe of Lurker. So they are considered a Lurker. So Lurk is a keyword that when you attack, while I'm on top of your deck, I lurk. Granting, which is a permanent buff, Lurker allies everywhere, +1/+0. But max of once per round. So if you get any rally effects, you can't stack this in the same time, in the same round a bunch of times. But if you do it on defense as well, because you do have to trigger this while attacking, that is pretty beneficial. So if you do get an attack off on defense, you could proc Lurk. But there's a little bit of an RNG aspect. You have to have a card with Lurk on top of your deck and be attacking. So off the bat, this kind of looks a little weak, and I think that's been a big reception of it so far. It just seems a little bit underwhelming, especially after coming off of things like Blade Dance, and that just came out, and there's just so much potential build-up and just swarming techniques. So this does seem like, if you compare it to that, it seems a little bit different, but I'm a bit intrigued by the keyword in general, because it is a grant effect. So it is kind of like a cascading effect where you're going to be continuously attacking, and you're not getting health buffs, but you are getting big attack buffs. So if you put this, here we have the Xerxai hatchling, which is a 1-drop. He has the lurk keyword, and he's also a lurker, which is great. But he's a 1/1, which isn't great, but he has fearsome. And fearsome is a solid keyword to get damage through. So if you put lurker and lurk on cards that have game-finishing keywords like fearsome, like elusive, like overwhelm, you can actually create a pretty terrifying force later in the game. So you do have to kind of flood your deck with a lot of cards that are going to have lurk, or use predict shenanigans to try to get him on top to proc that, and then as you do that, build up. I don't think this is going to be a rush deck at all. I don't think it's a good comparison. I think it's going to be more of a, you're slowly building up this bigger force as you go, and then once you've lurked a bunch and built up a bigger force, then you can get a big attack going. So this first card here is from Shurima, and I just read it, so I'm intrigued. I think, this definitely is going to show that Rek'Sai is going to play into this hand as well, which is pretty interesting. We don't know exactly what she's going to do, how she's going to function, but I do like the concept, and I do think it's getting a little bit too much hate right off the bat, because, obviously we've only seen 2 cards, and the keyword, we can't really tell. Some keywords you can tell right away, wow, this is going to be powerful, but lurk in general, I don't think we can really tell just yet, and I do understand why people are thinking it's slightly weak, but I'm a little bit hopeful of what is to come with it. I think it shouldn't be looked at as an aggro type of deck, though. Not yet, at least. We got to see a lot more before I'm getting to that point. So we scroll down here. I'm going to read the Snapjaw Swarm first, actually, all the way to the right. So this is a Bilgewater card, but it's another lurker. So it's kind of like this Piranha, really sweet card. It is a 2-drop 0/2, so it's going to have 0 attack unless it's getting additional buffs as a lurker, right? Unless you're actually getting those lurk procs, it's going to be only a 0/2. But when you play it, it starts a free attack. So it just by itself starts a free attack. Now I wish it did have like some type of keyword. It's really good for on a defensive turn. You can play this attack, and if you know you have a lurker on top, you can get that additional lurk proc on a defense round just for 2 mana. So that's probably the biggest benefit of it. In the lurk synergy, obviously we've come off of a meta where free attacks and attacking, and just anytime you can proc a Sand Soldier or a Blade Dance or anything like that is bonkers. So right away it's kind of like, oh my gosh, more of this. But I think it's going to function a lot differently in this style of deck. It doesn't have any, strong keywords like elusive or anything like that, which could be interesting. And it is a fish. It didn't get the deep tag, but, it's not like a sea creature. It's just a little piranha guy. But, it's interesting. I like the fact that it can proc the lurk, like I said, on defensive turns. But also, it can just be a decent attack as you go. It's probably going to get thrown to the wolves a lot if they have a blocker. It only has 2 health, so they can just chump it pretty easily. But it could be pretty interesting as you just get multiple snap swarms out or snapdraw swarms and just kind of play them for 2 mana attack. I think it's pretty interesting. It's also pretty interesting with like something like Bone Skewer, the card that just came out the last set, which is a 2 mana strike, but you put this card back on top of your deck. I mean that fits pretty well, right? You're putting a lurker on top of your deck, and on top of that, you can play this again for free and attack again, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I'm intrigued by that synergy. I just don't think we have enough. I do think it fits in the Bilgewater. One thing that scares me off the bat is the possibility that Rek'Sai and Pike are designed too integrated, where they can't really be broken up, kind of like Talia and Malphite, even though Talia has a Thralls deck. Malphite, yeah, you can play Malphite Yasuo or Leona, but you're kind of trolling at that point. It's not going to be tier 1. Neither is, Talia or Malphite either. But I just don't want these champions to be designed so symmetrically where they have to be played together and limit the deck building process. I think it really hurts, especially when it's only a 3 champion release and 2 of them are tied together. So I'm hoping that, there is synergy there. I'm just hoping that they're not forced to go on just each other. And right now, Lurker does seem like it's pretty specific as to what you need. That being said, we did mention Predict really quickly. Predict is a really interesting mechanic where you can put cards on top of your deck. I do like that, and it is in Shurima already, which is getting Lurker support here. I think that's a cool mechanic. Predict definitely needs some other toys, so I do think that's kind of cool. But also, I would like to see Bilgewater have enough toys. Like Bone Skewer is a great stat, but if they have enough stuff that they don't really have to go into that combination, I'd be happy. I think they're going to be pretty hand-tied, which upsets me a little bit, but alas, I mean, that's kind of how it is in some of these smaller design sets. The last card comes with a token card, which means it's not main deckable. So this last card here is another story in the Von Yip catalog. So you're not familiar with that, check out all the cards with the cats on them. It's quite hilarious. But this is the Fallen Feline. It's a 1-drop 2/1 in Piltover and Zaun. When it's summoned, you create a Hexite Crystal in the bottom 10 cards of your deck. So a 2/1 for 1. Solid stat, so you have to see what the Hextite Crystal does, and if you look at it, it's a 2-cost fast speed spell. If you see me in a prediction, you draw it, which is really interesting effect. The only thing we've seen that's similar is Kiari, the Brave, that comes back, who's fearsome. He has, when you see it in a prediction, you give all other Kiaris everywhere +2/+2. So this is another, when seen in a prediction, I really like that effect, so you don't just have to, it gives a little bit more life to predict. When you see it in prediction, you get to draw it this time. So you can not only draw this card right away, but also pick something else to draw the next turn. So that really helps you advance. So I really like that card, but it is going to get shuffled in the bottom 10 cards of your deck. But it's really powerful. 2-cost, two cost and fast speed to deal 2 to enemies and the enemy nexus. I mean, it's like an avalanche just on your opponent's side of the board. Very powerful card at fast speed nonetheless. Not even slow speed, fast speed. That much damage is just massive. I think this is the crystal that was shown in the trailer as well, which is kind of a neat little thing. But, I mean, this is really, really a powerful card. So it goes on the bottom 10 cards of your deck. So you're going to need to predict, which will then shuffle your deck after you do that predict. And then, or if you can, so you can get a free shuffle. And then you're going to have to eventually find this as well. So, I mean, it's a really interesting, cool card. It's just that, you're going to have to predict, pick a card, shuffle the rest of your deck, put the card on top, and then you're going to have to, again, predict, find it in your prediction. I mean, it's really, really good. There's hilarious tricks in P and Z for cards like this, like counterfeit copies and things like that. So you can just make a ton of these, but I'm not 100% sure how competitive it will be. We'll have to see. I mean, I love that we're getting predict support, and it's kind of interesting because, Echo is all about time manipulation and things like that, and it kind of fits with the predict theme in Zillion, so I do like that they're looking like they're going to go hand in hand. This card has an insanely powerful effect. How often you'll be able to get it and not have it at like a meme level deck that's only slightly consistent is yet to be seen, but if it does end up being the case where you can see this decently consistently, this card's incredible. And the Fallen Phalanx could definitely see play as a multiple drop, running 3 of, so you make sure to get this Hexite Crystal in your deck because it is a very powerful board wipe effect. So that's going to do it here, guys. I'm super excited to jump right into the spoiler season. We'll be putting out videos and recording our podcast this week. Again, we took last week off, but we'll be full back in swing of content, putting out a ton of stuff as we approach this new release. So we're super excited for that. So if you're interested in hearing our thoughts as we go, what kind of decks we're going to be building, make sure to just stay tuned to all of our socials. They'll be linked in the description below. Leave a like, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed, and we'll catch you next time.